All right. Hey, folks. So making the most out of 2024. Now, I just want to preface this by saying I've lifted for 25 years, right? I've competed for 18 years. One of the greatest things I enjoy in life is getting to the gym, having a great session, and also getting results. I look back at my life now and look back at the physique that I've built and what I've gotten from lifting, what lifting has given me. And I just feel so grateful that I not only started on that journey, but I started on it in the right way and I carried on making progress. So the mission statement for this channel, this entire channel, the whole reason I'm doing this is to give you that information, to disseminate good information to you so you don't have to get caught up in all the bullshit that's out there. And let's face it, there's a lot of BS out there. Every dipshit with a microphone is on YouTube giving you God knows what advice and putting you on the wrong track. So what I want to do today is I want to get you on the right track, give you a plan for the rest of 2024. No matter what you've done so far in 2024, I want you to have an excellent rest of this year. And I want you to really believe through your results that you can build a body you're proud of and build an advanced body, get to where you want to be and get past where you may have thought possible. So I can't directly coach all of you. I would love to, but what I want to give you in this video is a template for how to make the best gains of your life over the course of the next 6 months. So first, before we get into that, do the usual stuff, like, subscribe, comment. If you are interested in coaching, there's a link in the description where I can talk you through and take you through this personally on a one-to-one basis. So the very first thing we need to bear in mind is the number one thing that's going to move the needle in terms of gaining mass on your physique is progressive poundages in good form for medium to high reps. That is it. That is literally all that matters. Now, everything else we do, we talk about the sets, the reps, the volume, the diet, all that is there to facilitate that one thing, which is progressive poundages in good form for medium to high reps. If it doesn't affect your ability to get stronger in the, say, 5 to 20 range, throw it out. And that includes your volume, includes your length and partials, all that bullshit. If it doesn't help to actually move the needle, it means nothing. Yeah, I'm getting a bit passionate about this because I've run into a few people over the last few days who are completely misled, and they're misled by these dipshits on YouTube, giving them all the wrong information. And as a result, they have no belief in their own abilities at all because they've made no progress. So they just assume they don't have it. You all have it. If I had it, trust me, you have it. So the first thing we have to understand is progressive poundages in good form, medium to high reps. So now we need to find a way to measure progress. And something that I've introduced in my channel right from day one, back in 2021, the OGs will remember, is markers of progression. So what I want you guys to do right now is pick 3. You could pick up to 5, but let's keep it simple. Pick 3 exercises from your routine, which are good compound lifts, which cover the majority of the body. So you generally want to push, you want to pull, and you want something for the lower body. When I was competing in powerlifting, naturally, that was a squat, bench, and deadlift, which is, again, one of the reasons that I progressed so fast, because I had clear-cut goals and I stuck to those lifts. You don't have to pick the squat, bench, and deadlift. You can pick whatever you like. You can go with the dips, the chin, and a squat. And that's not bad. You can go with a bench press, a row, and a trap bar deadlift, whatever. Like, just pick 3 which represent your entire body and just go with that. Take those as your marks of progression. Now, you are going to do additional lifts. You are going to do additional things, but those are what we're going to use to measure your progress over the course of the next 6 months till the end of the year. Your priority is to gain as much poundage on those lifts as you possibly can with good form for medium to high reps, right? I don't necessarily want to change your routine. I don't necessarily want you to pick new lifts. Hopefully these are lifts you are currently doing already. Just select 3 which stand out from your routine. You're going to really prioritize those as your marks of progression. Now, the idea is I want you to be at maximum poundages before you significantly add calories, because part of the equation is going to be to gain weight. And I want to see increase of calories, or at least increase of quality, which I'll cover later on in the diet section. So get to the point where you're lifting your maximum weights on those lifts, and then we are looking to push up a new 20 kilos. What I'm interested in is new poundage. So get up to the point where you're at your heaviest working poundages on those lifts, and then we are looking to significantly increase calories, something along the lines of 250 to 300 calories per day, like enough to see a reasonable level of weight gain. And what that's going to do is going to support our focus on those three markers of progression. The whole idea of progressive overload with medium to high reps in good form. And yes, I know some YouTubers want to confuse you with just a bunch of inane bullshit about volume being more important than weight. But understand, all of those guys, they built their foundation on heavy basics, increasing weights on the bar in good form for medium to high reps. What they're promoting now to sell their ebooks and promote their coaching and to tickle the algorithm is not what built their mass in the first place. It's like the whole argument about bulking. All big guys dirty bulk their way up to advanced status and then turn around and go, right, shouldn't dirty bulk. And they get that lifting amnesia. It's the same with this. All the guys who currently focus on volume of everything, all that stuff, they all built their mass on heavy free weight basics. They know they did. You know they did. And now they're BSing you because they want to tickle the algorithm because that's how YouTube works. Don't fall for it, even just a little bit. Don't even let that thinking seep into your head. It is counterproductive for you. Remember, for them, it's money in their pocket. For you, it's your life, it's your body, it's your results. So don't be fooled. If you want to follow them, if you want to do like a ton of volume for the next 12 weeks, come back and try and prove me wrong, fine, go for it. Follow them, do a ton of volume, get injured, don't increase the poundage, and come back 12 months later looking exactly the same, having wasted 12 months. By all means, go ahead and do that. If you're not a client of mine, knock yourself out, but it's not going to work. So now we've covered our mission statement. We've looked at markers of progression. We've also touched a little bit on caloric increases and what our actual priorities are. Now, the next thing is, let's talk expectations. So you got to understand that for a natural, progress occurs slowly. I would say aim for roughly 20 kilos over the course of the next 6 months on each major lift. Now, if you've been stuck for a while, I think 20 kilos is reasonable. If you've been idling along reasonably well, then I think maybe 10. Either way, you've got to get more weight on the bar for medium to high reps in good form. So even 10 kilos on each major lift is great. Just to go off on a bit of a tangent for a second, like when I was younger, when I was first starting, the goals that I was given was a 3-plate bench, 4-plate squat, 5-plate deadlift. Now, again, I'm not suggesting you do the squat, bench, and deadlift, but the point is those lifts were lofty, achievable, but lofty. And when I hit them, I was big. It worked. I didn't sit there at 18 when I was benching 20 kilos thinking I'm never going to bench 140. I was told I would be able to bench 3 plates aside if I was consistent and stuck to it. So I believed them. Nowadays, for all the people saying it's too much, it's not fair, well, I'm not a powerlifter, I don't want to lift that heavy, grow a pair. Stop being so gullible. Every one of your influencers built their mass lifting on heavy barbell basics. Every single one. You are no exception to that. You're going to have to get your head around these numbers. You can't hide away from heavy weights. That's not how you build a good physique. It's not how every single big bodybuilder in the history of bodybuilding actually built their physique. It's also not how each of these dipshit influencers who've got some of you thinking the wrong things built their physique. So don't get taken in by the BS. Right. Next thing I want to talk about is visualization. Visualization is very important. One of the things that I used to do when I was younger, when I was coming up, was I would write my lifts down, write the lifts down that I really wanted to focus on. For me, a lot of times it was the squat, bench, and deadlift, but I also had a few other lifts like the weighted chin, weighted dip, things like that. And I would write down goals for those lifts as well and just write them down. Writing them down helped me to visualize that I could achieve those lifts. So if I was benching 100 kilos, I wrote down 110 as my goal for the end of the year. And it just helped me to get used to the idea that I am capable of doing that. Writing goals down is very powerful. You need to believe that you are capable of doing that. And that follows on to my last point about people saying, oh, it's too much, it's not fair, I'm not a powerlifter. Like, part of that reaction is an initial gut reaction to feeling insecure about your ability to actually do these things. So write those goals down and become comfortable with the idea of lifting 10 kilos, 20 kilos more in each lift. Because that makes a difference. You're benching 2 plates aside now, 2.5 plates is quite a jump, especially if you're going from, say, 80 kilos, so a plate and a half per side for reps to 2 plates for reps. It's a big jump. You've got to believe. And belief is true in any endeavor in life. It's lifting, it's true in business as well. You've got to believe you can achieve and then create a good plan and execute that plan. If you're not executing your plan with belief, you're never going to make it. Like never. A big part of it is having the balls to say, yes, I can. So next thing I want to talk about is the fact that minimalism still sucks. Okay. You're not going to do just the 3 lifts. You are going to add in work for other areas. And we'll talk about routines in a moment. But the other things I want you to focus on is also your cardio and eating a sensible, whole food based diet. I don't have any particular preference on diet. I still personally favor a bodybuilding diet. Now, what I mean by a bodybuilding diet is high protein, high fruits and vegetables. I fill in the rest of the gaps with carbs that I like and suit my body, like rice, stuff like that. So let's now discuss routines. Okay. So any sensible routine works, right? But remember, the priority is progressive overload for medium to high reps in good form. Like, it is not high volume for the sake of high volume. It is not doing stretch and length and partials for the sake of doing those things. So those things are fine, but if it's serving as either a distraction or it's actively preventing your ability to put weights on the bar, it's not productive. It is quite literally counterproductive for your goals, because what's going to build mass is adding 10 kilos to your lifts over the course of the next 6 months, not doing an arbitrary amount of volume or the stretch or the squeeze or whatever type of BS. It's just that progressive poundages in good form for medium to high reps. That's all it is. It's literally all it is. So I know this is a pretty simple point, but listen, a lot of people don't get this because they're brainwashed by the current fads. But I'm just going to say it. A specific amount of volume you're doing is burying you and you can't improve. Do less. And I know that's a very simple point. It's a point which gets missed. People will lay down a routine with 20, 30 sets, whatever, or super high frequency. And they're getting hurt, they're getting tendonitis, but they persist in doing it because apparently you need high volume or you need a stretch or whatever. That's not the goal. The goal is more weight on the bar. If you're getting hurt now, how are you going to be stronger in 6 months' time? You're not. With the same routine, you're only going to get more hurt. So the big thing is connective tissues just don't recover that well. So if you are doing excessive volumes, excessive work in the stretch position, and you're getting tendonitis, it's not going to work. Like, you've got to cut that shit out. Reduce the volume, reduce the fancy stuff, and remember the goal: progressive poundages in good form for medium to high reps. Any of my books, The Wizard and The Barbarian, are 2 of my bestsellers. They work very well. I also coach, so if you're interested in coaching, there's a link in the description and I can put you through this myself. Now, let's just briefly touch on nutrition before we end this. So I would say a small surplus is a good idea. 250 or so calories per day extra to what your maintenance is. Now, for those of you who want to do a bit of extra homework and are able to do this, higher protein works very, very well. For reasons that I won't get into in this video because it's a long video, but higher protein up to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight works very well. Now, that's assuming you are relatively lean. So for me, that would be 300 grams because I currently weigh 200 pounds. If you're not very lean, let's say you're obese, I would probably go with 1.5 grams per centimeter of height. Now, if you are really overweight, I don't think a small surplus is a good idea. I think in that case, just increase the quality of your food, which is more protein and more of a focus on whole foods. And then you'll be able to recomp because you have the body fat to enable you to do that. Final step is talking about sleep. Essentially, whatever you need to feel rested. Okay. It varies. When I was younger, I needed at least 8 to 9 hours. Nowadays, I do okay with about 7. So 7 to 8. So my sleeping needs have gotten less as I've gotten older, just as much as you need to feel rested. So that is your plan for the next 6 months. Okay. Let it not be said that I haven't given you guys actual direction over the next 6 months. That's what this channel is about. Yes, I moaned and I bitched about a few things, but my intentions are to help you and to wake you up. If you have been led astray, to pull you back in, because I just see so much BS out there. So many people focusing on things which aren't relevant. So over the course of this video, we covered what's actually important, markers of progression, expectations, routines, and then visualization and all the rest, nutrition and sleep. I want you to take that. It's the weekend tomorrow. Start now, formulate a plan, figure it out, and vow to be better by next year. Right, guys? I'm not angry, I promise. I'm just trying to be emphatic. But anyway, I'm going to call it there. Hope you guys are good and have a nice weekend.